Good evening. The Blue Jays will be looking to regain their lead in the World Series tonight when they square off with the Dodgers in Game 3.
The series has shifted to Los Angeles, and the Jays will be turning to a veteran starter in enemy territory tonight. CTV Sean Leithong is at Dodger Stadium, joining us live now with a preview of tonight's game. Should be interesting, Sean.
Oh, and exciting, Michelle and Nathan, and you can feel it inside Dodger Stadium right now. The gates have opened, the fans are filing in, and the Toronto Blue Jays are on the field. Let me step out of frame so we can take a look. As we see across the field, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been warming up for a little while. He, of course, will be crucial in this game. He has been the player who's been pushing this team through the playoffs, but they have gotten a lot of production all the way down the lineup. Now, you did talk about the veteran starter who will be starting on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's, of course, Max Scherzer, who was fantastic in the ALCS after being left off the lineup in the divisional series. They're hoping Max can dial it back to his Cy Young form. And then throughout the diamond, there's been role players such as Andres Jimenez, who's at shortstop tonight. He's warming up there. Bo Bichette will be at second base. He is in the starting lineup. And then you go all the way over to third base, and that's Ernie Clement. If you see Clement right now fielding ground balls, he's actually wearing a Bo Bichette jersey. And Clement is someone who likes to support his teammates. He talked about one person, leadoff hitter George Springer, a little while ago, and how Springer is an enemy in Los Angeles for his past career with the Houston Astros, where they beat Los Angeles in the 2017 World Series. Here's what he said when he hears boos coming towards Springer.
When he gets booed, I usually boo as well. Every time we hear the boos, I'm up on the top step of the dugout booing him and telling him he sucks, and then he'll hit a home run and he shuts everybody up. So it's just special to watch him, especially on this stage. He just continues to do it over and over again. And yeah, I remember watching that Houston and Dodgers World Series, and those were some of the best World Series games ever. They were just so exciting, and he just continues to get it done on the biggest stage. It's cool to be a part of.
Now, Ernie Clement also referred to his team as the Glue Jays, a nickname that he was told. It's a team that sticks together, a team that's been strong and good for one another, and that's really shown in the season that they've had. John Schneider, a little while ago, talked about his team. Here's what he had to say.
I think, when you talk about kind of standards that you set, starts with the leaders, and George has done a good job, Max has done a good job, Vlad's done a good job, kind of talking through their experiences of being in this situation, whether you're down 2, up 3 games, and kind of how to navigate it, and everyone kind of just follows suit, I think. But there's also something to be said about, I think, just the character of the guys, each and every one of them. So it's cool to watch. They kind of just move on to the next thing. They really I've said before, it's almost unbelievable, but I'm at the point where it's definitely believable because they just continue to do it.
Standing in the way is Tyler Glasnow, the pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who's been sensational in the postseason. And, of course, we do know the lineup that the Dodgers had on the plate. We know that there's Shohei Ohtani. We know Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. This team can hit. So Max Scherzer, if he is going to dial the clock back, will have to do it against possibly one of the best offensive lineups in baseball. But the game will start in just about 2 hours' time. We'll check back in with you this hour. But for now, reporting live, I'm Sean Leithong. Michelle, I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Can't wait. Appreciate it. Meantime, fans have traveled from far and wide to take in the World Series in Los Angeles.
That includes many people who've crossed the border in order to cheer on the Blue Jays. CTV's Raheem Ladani has been speaking with fans in and around Dodger Stadium and joins us live now with more. And Raheem, Blue Jay fans will travel.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, Jays fans certainly will travel. The tough part is it's hard to point them out here because the colors of both teams are so similar. However, I have found some Blue Jays fans right over here. We're here to cheer. We've got Tanner right over here. Tanner's from Edmonton. Tell me a little bit about why you wanted to come down here to make this trip.
My wife and I were chasing 30, so this is just one of the stops along the way. Decided to make a random trip out here last minute and see the Jays in the World Series.
'Awesome. Let's move over here. What's your name, sir, and where are you from?
I'm Roger. I'm from Vancouver.
Awesome. Let's move over here. What's your name, sir, and where are you from? I'm Roger. I'm from Vancouver. I'm from Vancouver. I'm from Vancouver. What do you make of this whole atmosphere so far?
This is unbelievable. Never been to Dodger Stadium, bucket list thing, and to see my lifelong team, the Jays, make it is unbelievable.
Are you feeling safe? Are you feeling outnumbered? What do you think?
Oh yeah, we're definitely outnumbered. Like definitely outnumbered. But you know what? We're having a great time. I'm with this guy. We're having a blast.
Sir, what's your name and where are you from?
I'm Rutten. I'm from Revelstoke, British Columbia.
And what made you want to make this trip down to LA?
It's baseball. We got the World Series. Joe Carter, those boys from '93 have been holding this for a while, so we're going to give Vladdy and the team a chance to hoist it and do it all, and I think they're going to do it. Look at Game 1.
Are you guys going to be able to be louder than this LA crowd? I mean, there's few of you, but maybe you can use your vocal cords a little bit.
We're going to yell. We got this down. Yeah. Go Blue Jays!
There you go. So Michelle and Nathan, as you can see right here, right, there are some sprinkles of Blue Jays fans throughout. There's some more. Come on over. We got to go real quick. But come on over here and just tell me, where are you from and why did you want to make this trip down here?
Well, I live in LA, but originally from Toronto. I'm from Toronto. I flew down yesterday. Yes, and she wanted to be here to see Blue Jays win.
There you go. So a lot of confidence. People have forgotten about Game 2, and they're hoping Game 3 will be a different result. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. I'll send it back to you both in studio.
All right, can't wait. Thanks, Raheem. Still to come, Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump have no plans to meet in Asia this week amid the latest spat in the ongoing trade war between Canada and the U.S. We'll have more on the dispute and the role played by Premier Doug Ford a little later in the newscast. But first, York Regional Police are investigating after shots were fired at a home in Vaughan for the third time in the past 2 months.
No injuries were reported, but the incident has left neighbors shaken and investigators trying to figure out who pulled the trigger. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Allison Ann Way in Vaughan once again covered in police markers today.
I think it's 3 too many.
A residential home shot up for the third time since September.
At this time, we believe this incident is a targeted incident.
Not a random shooting, say police. In fact, the last time this house was targeted, another home just a few minutes away was fired on for the second time. That house belonged to slain tow truck kingpin Alex Vinogradsky. At the time, police connected those shootings to a third home also in Vaughan.
You know, it's targeted. It's not just like random shootings. I feel like it would have been a bit scared if it was random.
Neighbors say it was around 5 a.m. when up to 20 shots rang out. A parked vehicle in the driveway was struck after a male suspect pulled up to the home and fired shots from inside a black car.
We've been there 19 years, nothing even remotely close to this. And then all of a sudden, within a span of a month,
this has been an excellent neighborhood to be in since the beginning that it was built, but it's just turned into this nightmare since the past 8 months or so.
That's when they moved in, you say?
Yes.
Vaughan's mayor calls these incidents unacceptable, saying too many criminals have access to illegal guns and a no-consequence criminal justice system. Quote, under my leadership, the city of Vaughan is doing its part by buying additional crime-fighting cameras for YRP, which will focus on gunshot detection and stolen cars. We will also push for more police officers to be hired and deployed into our neighborhoods. Police have a mobile camera stationed near the other shooting scene on nearby Farrell Road. But tell CTV News the camera on this street was removed on October the 24th.
Nervous. We were feeling a little safer when the camera was there, but they removed it this weekend, and right after they came.
Police say they can't openly discuss any operational decisions to install or remove cameras, saying that they can't speak to investigative techniques or provide any specifics about ongoing investigations. Still, neighbors say someone has to be answerable.
I'm angry that more is not being done. I'm angry that we're stuck in the middle.
So far, no injuries have been reported in any of these shootings. Janice Golding, CTV News.
The premier is defending an anti-tariff ad, which is being blamed for a breakdown in international trade talks between Canada and the U.S.
Ford says the ad has been a major success, but critics say the premier has overstepped and is putting Canadian jobs on the line. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has been following this story and joins us live with more. Siobhan.
Well, Nathan, so far we know that this ad has meant a pause in the trade negotiations with the U.S. and the threat from Donald Trump of an additional 10% tariff on Canadian goods. But still, the premier is calling this a success. On the floor of the Ontario legislature,
it was the most successful ad in the history of North America.
In interviews on American TV,
I don't regret it at all.
Premier Doug Ford unrepentant about an anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of Ronald Reagan that's derailed trade talks.
Well, as we say, mission accomplished. It was done. They're talking about it in the U.S., and they weren't talking about it before I put the ad on.
Ford says the goal was always conversation. He doesn't buy Donald Trump's reasoning for cutting Canada off.
It's not about the ad. It's about finding every excuse in the world not to get a deal.
From the Prime Minister, a word of caution.
I would suggest you take the president at his word.
Mark Carney stresses that in talks with the U.S., there had been good progress on steel and aluminum.
Up until the point of those ads running.
No guilt from Ford that progress has stalled.
There's no mention whatsoever of auto. I feel like it slipped to the side. I'm going to fight for the auto workers, the steel workers, the manufacturing.
The opposition sees this as an unforced error.
What they did with that ad, it wasn't smart. There's a good chance Ontarians are going to pay with their jobs.
Calling on Ford to worry about the jobs already at risk in the province.
And instead, the Premier is focused on an ad campaign that's there to, boost his ego, make him feel like a big guy?
We need to be united as Team Canada and not have individual premiers go rogue.
Ford insists Carney had seen the ad before it aired, brushing off suggestions he'd been asked to keep quiet. But the Prime Minister wanted to re-emphasize today
that it is the responsibility of the Government of Canada to have these negotiations.
The Premier's office still can't say exactly how much this ad cost. They told us at first it would be $75 million, but that's to run the ad until the end of January. They did have some numbers for us today about the number of impressions this ad made, 11 billion in just over a week. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra offered his thoughts on the anti-tariff ad at an event today.
Donald Trump did not slam the door. Donald Trump could do the only thing that a leader of a sovereign nation could do when a neighbor, another sovereign nation, decided to interject itself into American politics. Canada slammed that door shut all by itself.
In other news, we're learning more about the front row hockey tickets Ontario's Minister of Labour shared with a friend whose company happened to get millions of dollars from the Skills Development Fund.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, there are new questions about the minister's explanation.
There's David Piccini in glass seats at a Maple Leafs game in 2023, and there's Peter Zacharow, a director of a company that would later get millions from the Skills Development Fund after Piccini became the Labour Minister. Ontario's opposition painting this as another example of favoritism in the $2.5 billion fund that has seen at least $100 million go to groups that endorse the Ford government, a process Ontario's Auditor General has called not fair, transparent, or accountable.
We keep peeling the onion, and the more we peel, the more rotten it is.
Piccini denied special treatment in that game, saying in a statement, Minister Piccini is a lifelong sports fan who buys his own tickets to games. Similar tickets retailing for over $1,000 each. CTV News has learned through two sources that those hockey tickets in question are actually seasons tickets. They've belonged to the Zacharow family for decades. All that makes Piccini's claim that he paid for his tickets a little more complicated. We followed up with Piccini's office, asking him if he paid the Zacharow family back and how much. They told us Minister Piccini has already publicly responded to these questions, perhaps referring to our recent exchange with him.
Did you pay for those hockey tickets? I did, and our stats are...
Did you? Those hockey tickets they belong to the Zacharow family. Did you pay to the Zacharow family for those hockey tickets?
Our stats are showing that we have more women in the trades today than at any point in modern history.
So no answer on whether you paid for the hockey ticket. Those specific seats, that specific seat. Did you pay for that specific seat?
On this, and when I go away on personal family vacations, I pay for that too.
I would think that the Integrity Commissioner would reach out and say, hey, what's going on here?
York University professor Ian Stedman says if Piccini got a deal from a friend, he should have declared a gift. But records show that didn't happen.
You can go to the game with your buddies all the time and just pay them back by buying beer and wings. But when you're a public official, you actually have to be very scrupulous about making sure there's a record that you've paid them back.
Otherwise, scoring something from the minister could have been that night's real goal. John Woodward, CTV News.
From Queen's Park to City Hall now, where there is exactly 1 year to go in the race to become Toronto's next mayor.
The Board of Trade stressing the next 12 months will define the debate that shapes what could be a pivotal point in this city. CTV's Natalie Johnson has the details.
Allons-y, la gang! At an East End brewery this morning, Mayor Olivia Chow was fermenting a plan to help small businesses report delays and barriers at City Hall.
It gives me an idea.
With 1 year to go before the mayoral election.
I didn't even know that is 1 year from today. I'm focusing on cutting red tape and supporting small businesses so that they are successful.
But with the countdown now on, a new poll suggests Chow is vulnerable to defeat next year. In a head-to-head race with Brad Bradford, the only high-profile declared candidate, Bradford beats Chow with 40% support compared to Chow's 32%.
I hear from Torontonians every day that the city is headed in the wrong direction. You know, they feel like Toronto is less safe. They know it's more expensive, and it's never been more difficult to get around. And I think we need leadership at City Hall that is focused on the basics.
Chow, though, stands to benefit if John Tory adds his name to the ballot, which creates a statistical dead heat. Tory declined a request for interview today.
It all comes as the Board of Trade launches a year-long campaign highlighting what is at stake for Toronto in the next election, calling on the next term of council to be defined by a bold agenda because the city stands at a crossroads.
What we've done over the last 40 years may have served its purpose in times past, but really doesn't meet the mark today, and you can see it.
In an open letter to mayoral candidates, the president of the Toronto Region Board of Trade writing, "What's needed next October is new and renewed leadership with the discipline and vision to strengthen Toronto's economic armor," calling on the next mayor to overhaul the city's fiscal framework, fix the gridlock and expand transit, and accelerate housing supply.
I think there's a sense among the voters that things are not necessarily going in the right direction.
The mayor not saying yet whether she will run again.
I'm busy doing all the work to deliver results for people and have not begun to think about election. But thank you for that reminding me that I probably eventually need to consider what am I doing next year.
It's time for generational change in the city of Toronto. It's time for a new chapter for this city. And in 365 days, we'll take that question to Torontonians.
With 1 year to go, the Board of Trade says the answer to what is at stake is everything. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
All 6 lanes of the Gardiner Expressway between Dufferin and Strawn are open again, 18 months ahead of schedule. Here's a live look at the Gardiner this hour. The rehabilitation project was initially set to wrap up in 2027, but the province spent millions to speed up the timeline. The highway was closed after Game 2 of the World Series on Saturday and officially reopened early this morning. We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city tonight. We'll get to your local forecast in just a bit, but there's a big international weather story that we are following this hour. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at Hurricane Melissa. Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, this is a Category 5 monster hurricane, and it could be the first Category 5 storm to make landfall in Jamaica since record-keeping began. So there's the eye wall. This is where we're most concerned about damaging winds, and you can see that the outer bands of the storm are already impacting Jamaica, but it's sometime tonight or into tomorrow that the storm is expected to make landfall, expecting catastrophic flooding, storm surge, and possibly landslides as well, along with those winds that could cause structural damage and days-long power outages. Then the storm, as it weakens, is going to make its way to eventually impact areas like Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and maybe even Bermuda in the coming days. So in what's been a relatively quiet Atlantic hurricane season, suddenly things have become quite serious in the Caribbean. So just a heads up if you have loved ones there, or perhaps some travel plans that have perhaps been altered. Here's a look at our satellite and radar a little closer to home. We had a bit of cloud cover impacting downtown Toronto today. That since has moved out. Still the west end of the GTA seeing some of that cloud, all thanks to an easterly wind. It brought us the threat of a shower today. Didn't really happen. We're at 8 degrees right now in Toronto, and here is your evening at a glance. It looks pretty pleasant for anyone heading out to any Blue Jays viewing parties. We're going to take a look at your forecast for the week ahead, which includes Halloween and the first couple of days of November. All of that is coming up. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Prime Minister Mark Carney is answering questions for the first time since U.S. President Donald Trump cut off trade talks with Canada over Ontario's anti-tariff ad.
Well, Trump says the two leaders have no plans to meet. Carney says progress was being made up until last week. CTV's Judy Trin is traveling with the Prime Minister in Kuala Lumpur and has the latest.
Official handshake. The Prime Minister began his day with a meeting with Malaysia's Anwar Ibrahim, the fourth leader from Southeast Asia that he has sat down with at ASEAN. But the one-on-one he needs is slipping out of reach.
Whether it's provincial or Canada itself, they all knew exactly what the ad was. I don't want to meet with them. No, I'm not going to be meeting with them for a while. Mark Carney revealed he has not spoken to Donald Trump since the U.S. president broke off trade talks on Thursday. Trump ended negotiations over an anti-tariff ad that the Ontario government commissioned, just as the federal team was close to getting tariff relief for steel and aluminum. The Prime Minister was asked if he was upset with Doug Ford.
You can get unexpected twists and turns, and you have to keep your cool. We had made progress, to repeat. And we stand by the progress that had been made.
Trump is also threatening to add 10% more tariffs on top of existing ones. When those take effect is uncertain. It's a stunning reversal from Carney's last White House visit just 3 weeks ago. How did your relationship with Donald Trump go south so fast?
It's a question for him.
Carney has considered the possibility the U.S. is toying with Canada and doesn't want to negotiate.
I'm not about to detail those contingency plans. I said this before I was elected, emphasize the importance of us giving ourselves far more than any foreign government could take away.
At the ASEAN summit, Carney said Canada would increase by 50% its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. That would amount to $300 billion. Trump may not want to sit down with Carney, but the president of China does. Xi Jinping and Carney will have a bilateral meeting in South Korea. The two leaders want to recalibrate the relationship between their two countries. Judy Trin, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
To another Canada-U.S. battle, while the Blue Jays are in Los Angeles, fans are still gathering at Rogers Centre to take in tonight's game.
A watch party is being held inside the Dome, with the big game being broadcast on the big screen. CTV's Beth McDonnell has been speaking with fans outside Rogers Centre and joins us live with more. I'm sure it's going to be really exciting inside the Dome, Beth.
You bet. I have a feeling, Nathan, Michelle, if you don't have a ticket to a game in LA, here at Rogers Centre, this watch party will be the next hottest ticket in town. I'm with super fan Juan and his family. They are going to be at the watch party tonight. But Juan, you are also at game 2. Pretty special night. Tell me all about it.
Oh, it was a great night. It was a dream come true. Being there, I was, in '93, I was at the World Series. Being there, it was just a fantastic, great time, amazing.
You have an incredible outfit here in tribute to this team, and some pretty famous people picked up on this outfit. Tell me what happened.
Oh, the Jonas brothers, they were there on the field, and they kind of see it, and then I asked them, hey, let's take a picture, and they're like, yeah, for sure. So it was fantastic. It was awesome.
You have all the details down here, all the way down to your socks. Let's all come all the way down here. Look at these. What are these?
Oh, those are Vladdy's socks right there.
Okay, I love it. I love it. And you're here with your family. How special. Ava, Bianca, and Patricia. What's it been like getting ready for this series with your husband?
Oh, it's just been like endless amount of excitement in the house, like anxiety, excitement, all of it. This means the world to him. If you could see our basement, it's the ultimate Blue Jay man cave. And thank you, Victor Ambrossi, for contributing to that. He is beyond excited, beyond.
Your dad's been a fan since the 1980s, a boy since when he was in Nicaragua before he came to Canada. What's it like to go tonight to this watch party with your dad?
It's the best. Like, he always brings the best, like, energy and vibes, and, like, every time the Blue Jays play, it's just the best experience with him and just everything.
Yeah, he's the best fan out there.
Yeah, he's a true definition of a fan. Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be a great time tonight. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I want to see your face when they win tonight. Take care. And still ahead, the latest from Los Angeles. We'll check back in with our Sean Leathong for more on Game 3 of the World Series. We'll take you to LA shortly.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, it started with a pop-up on their computer, but a couple in their 70s say they were groomed by scammers over a period of 5 months. Eventually, they were defrauded out of more than $1 million. All of that story, that's just ahead.
Well, so far here in Toronto, the World Series has offered us a little bit of unsettled weather and some cooler conditions. But as we venture to LA tonight, this looks pretty good weather-wise. Mainly sunny skies and a temperature around 20 degrees for first pitch. Let's go Blue Jays. We're going to take you through your forecast for the next couple of days for the Jays and also for you here at home. A look into the weekend is just ahead. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Fraud and cybercrime cost Canadians more than $630 million last year in various scams, and many of the victims were seniors.
A couple contacted CTV News to say what started up with a pop-up on their computer screen ended with them losing their life savings. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. The couple in their 70s say when they got a warning on their laptop, they called the number on the screen. For the next 5 months, criminals told them their bank accounts were in jeopardy. In the end, they were scammed out of more than $1 million. In Brantford, a couple were living their lives and enjoying their retirement. But in March, while using their computer, a warning popped up.
I couldn't get rid of it. I tried Control-Alt-Delete, and it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't turn off.
The man and woman, both in their 70s, asked us not to identify them as they're still coping with losing their entire life savings. When they called the number on the screen, they were told their accounts had been hacked, and it appeared he was involved in criminal activity.
My SIN number had been compromised and was being used for money laundering by a criminal organization that was involved in child pornography, human trafficking, and drugs.
They were told their money in the bank was at risk of being stolen and they needed to get it out to protect it. After 2 months of grooming the couple with daily calls, they told them to take their money out by purchasing gold bars and to put some in a Bitcoin machine. They purchased $900,000 in gold and over $100,000 in Bitcoin. The criminals said they would hold on to the money to keep it safe and give it back when the investigation was complete. Despite warnings from their bank, they still went through with it.
But our financial advisor warned us. Yeah. She said, oh, this sort of sounds like fraud.
Eventually, when they had no more money to give, the scammers cut off all contact with them. That's when they realized they'd been duped.
Oh, we're devastated. It sounds very foolish that somebody would do something like this, but it was the trust that was built up over 5 months.
Every day, Canadians are losing their life savings.
The Canadian Association of Retired Persons, CARP, says banks need to do more to protect vulnerable seniors from scams.
Canadian banks should be doing more beyond education, but really setting up the infrastructure to protect seniors.
The couple says they're now financially ruined, and the chance of recovering any of the funds is almost zero.
It was money that we invested over our lives. It was money that we inherited. It was money from the sale of our house. It was
money we were going to leave our son.
And the couple also cashed in their RRSP, so at tax time, they'll have a tax bill of more than $100,000. Legitimate officials would never ask you to buy gold bars or put money in a Bitcoin machine. If they do, it's a scam. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, here we are. We are into the final days of the month of October, and boy, is there a lot going on this week. We have the Jays in the World Series, but also we have Halloween on Friday, and then on Saturday, we fall back.
There's just so much to even I don't know what to think about, but the first priority is Game 3 tonight and get the win so that the narrative will be, oh, the Jays are going to win the series. Because whoever wins this game, I'm sure everyone's going to think they're going to win the series, right?
Yeah, it's an important game. It may not be the most important game of the series, but it is a big one, and our fingers are crossed. In fact, we're going to take another live look at Dodger Stadium right now as the teams get ready to begin Game 3. Not far away now. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Weather, not a concern in Los Angeles when it comes to these baseball games, really over the next couple of days. We here at home have the possibility of some unsettled weather as the week goes on, and gradually conditions are going to get a little bit cooler. So we have your first look at Halloween coming up in this forecast, but we will begin with the current conditions. 8 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. It was a pretty pleasant day. We had a whole lot of sunshine across southern Ontario in most areas, from downtown Toronto through Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, a little more in the way of cloud. Overnight tonight, few clouds tonight. See the cloud cover increasing, and there is about a 30% chance of drizzle or a scattered shower. Temperature-wise, we fall to 3, maybe 4 degrees for a low. And then tomorrow's high, once again, is seasonal at 11 degrees. But if we don't get the drizzle, it's a mix of sun and cloud kind of day once again. Not looking too bad at all. The daytime highs are going to become a little cooler over the coming days. Here's our satellite and radar. That cloud cover that I mentioned has essentially disappeared, at least for now. Part of the reason for it is the fact that we've got an east wind blowing off Lake Ontario. So even though high pressure is at play, it is possible that we're going to see a quick passing shower again tomorrow. So here's our forecast radar. That's what that looks like at 8 a.m. Again, though, as the day goes on, you'll notice that it's mostly sunny skies in most places. Wednesday, we start to see a bit of an increase in cloud cover, and then here comes a weather maker for Thursday. So gradually we see temperatures start to cool, and we are looking at some rain for both Thursday and possibly into Friday, which of course is Halloween. This is your trick-or-treating forecast for the evening hours. 7 degrees and showers at this point. Still a couple of days for that to change. Might want to start incorporating an umbrella into your Halloween costume. 7-day forecast looks like this as we head into the weekend. Still the chance of showers for Saturday. Cooler daytime highs in the single digits. Overnight lows a little chilly too. And yes, we do fall back early Sunday morning. Showers return to our forecast for next Monday. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Let's head back to Dodger Stadium, where CTV's Sean Leathong joins us live once again. It looks like it's sunny and warm where you are.
It's actually cooling down, but it's going to heat up in just a little while when Game 3 starts. And to help us set the table is Jennifer Hedger from TSN. Thanks for coming here tonight.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's actually more than nice to be here. It's amazing to be here right now.
It is incredible to be here at Game 3. Now, one person who's been in the World Series a lot is Max Scherzer. Talk about what the Jays need from him tonight.
Yeah, his 4th time pitching in the World Series with his 4th different team. He's 41 years old. He needs to try and rekindle that magic that he had in the series against Seattle. He pitched 5 2/3 innings. He's going to be up there. He's going to be frothing at the mouth. He's a super intense guy. If they can get 5 innings out of Max tonight and then the bullpen comes in, that's exactly what they need. But there's a lot of miles on that arm. So we'll see if Max can push Father Time back at least one more game and put in another World Series performance, this time for Toronto.
Somebody who's been public enemy #1 for Dodgers fans is George Springer. People might not know that. Can you talk about that at all?
Absolutely. Yeah. George Springer used to play for the Houston Astros, and in 2017 the Houston Astros faced these LA Dodgers. George Springer hit 5 home runs in that series. That's a record. 4 of them he hit out of this ballpark. So Dodgers fans, do not forget, George Springer was the MVP of that World Series. The Astros had that little scandal going out of that World Series, so a lot of reasons to boo Springer as a member of the opposition, once again with a World Series on the line.
And it's funny because Ernie Clement a little while ago talked about how when the crowd boos George Springer, Ernie Clement boos him as well, and then Springer silences everybody. One person who we're looking for to contribute in any way he can, we just saw him doing batting practice, Bo Bichette. What does that mean to have him here?
Yeah, Bo Bichette, they love having Bo Bichette's bat in the lineup. He was the Blue Jays' best hitter all season. He was in Game 1. He played second base in Game 1. He got a hit. He worked a walk. So they really want his bat in the lineup. He's going to play second base again tonight. That knee is still an issue. He's still definitely compromised. Running the bases is really difficult for Bichette. That back and forth movement when you have to play second base is an issue for Bichette, but he is such an important part of this team that even a compromised Bo Bichette, they believe, is worth putting him in the lineup here for Game 3. So he might not last the whole game. They might pull him in the 6th or 7th inning and get a pinch hitter in for him. But it's nice to see Bichette back in the lineup because it at least means he's well enough to be here.
And it is all hands on deck, as John Schneider said. Thank you very much, Jennifer Hedger, for joining us. Nathan and Michelle will send it back to you.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Jen. Enjoy the game. And still to come as of today, flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines are available to the general public here in Ontario. We'll have more on the push for increased vaccine uptake when we return. Over the past few years, Ontario has been expanding access to free vaccines against RSV.
This fall, a new group is eligible. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
For the past 2 years, Ontario residents aged 60 or older who live in a long-term care centre or retirement home were eligible for the free vaccines against respiratory syncytial virus or RSV.
This year, all adults 75 years of age and older can get free RSV vaccine through their primary care provider.
Dr. Vinita Dubé says seniors were hit hard by RSV last year.
A lot of hospitalizations associated with this virus. And we also have a recommendation from the National Advisory Committee on Immunization, which has recommended this vaccine, especially for all seniors 75 and older.
There are 2 adult vaccines available, a Arexvy and a Brisvo. And despite questions about the ingredients in the latest Board of Health meeting, Dubé says they are very safe.
No vaccine is 100% safe, and no one ever says that it is. There is always a small risk associated with them. What we've seen, though, in our own city, though, is that the risks of RSV can be very serious for seniors.
Right now, the free vaccine is only available through your doctor, not pharmacies. And for those who don't have a family doctor, Public Health is having an upcoming clinic.
Toronto Public Health is hosting a clinic on October the 31st at North York Civic Centre. You go to tphbookings.ca and you can book an appointment to get it from us.
The vaccine can cost some $300 if you have to buy it yourself, so she encourages everyone eligible to get it through their doctor or Public Health. Protection for newborns against RSV is also available, a monoclonal antibody called Beyfortus. Dubé says respiratory virus season hasn't really started yet, so it's a good time for those most vulnerable to get immunized. And the shot is good for several years, so if you got one last year, you won't need a new one. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Also on the vaccine front, as of today, flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines are available to the general public in Ontario.
I would say there's been excellent uptake. A lot of those people really understand the risks of catching some of these viruses and will go out of their way to get vaccinated. And because vaccines like COVID vaccine and flu vaccine have been so readily available in pharmacies with extended hours, we're seeing a lot of, especially our older folks, taking advantage of those.
The shots are being administered at pharmacies, some public health units, and participating doctor and nurse practitioners' offices.
The Ford government says it'll be investing $1.1 billion over 3 years to expand home care services.
Our government's investments will help shape the future of home care in Ontario, allowing even more people to receive convenient, high-quality care in the comfort of their own homes, surrounded by their loved ones.
The province says the funding will connect patients who no longer need to remain in hospital to nurses, physiotherapists, and other healthcare professionals. It also says the investment will ease the strain on hospitals and make sure Ontario's health system can support an aging population.
After the break, the run on Jays gear. We pop into a local shop that's been outfitting fans since Toronto's last World Series win and catch up with the man behind the merch mainstay.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great nickname. I think it's just a great collective effort with everybody that's on our roster and that's been on our roster. It's everybody pulling in the same direction and keeping the boys rolling. It's awesome.
Updating our top stories, the Blue Jays and Dodgers will be squaring off in Game 3 of the World Series tonight. Things are tied at a game apiece, and Toronto will be turning to veteran starter Max Scherzer as they look to regain the series lead.
President Trump is not putting a deal together to benefit Canada. It's our job, it's the Prime Minister's job to get a deal that benefits all of Canada. My job is to protect jobs here in Ontario.
Premier Doug Ford defended his anti-tariff ad today, which is being blamed for ending trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. It comes as both Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump are at economic summits in Asia, though the two have no plans to meet.
This time we believe this incident is targeted incidents. We have a suspect vehicle being a black car with a male driver suspect shooting out from the driver's seat and then was last seen leaving the area.
York Regional Police are searching for suspects after shots were fired at a Vaughan home for a third time. No injuries were reported, but the continued shootings has both residents and law enforcement concerned.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video or breaking news, let us know.
Interest in flights to Los Angeles has spiked since the Blue Jays made it to the World Series. Travel search engine Kayak says searches for flights from Toronto to Los Angeles are 8 times their usual volume, while searches for flights from LA to Toronto have increased by 6 times. Meanwhile, data from OpenTable found that restaurants saw a 38% increase in activity during Game 7 against the Seattle Mariners. Well, if you're out walking city streets, you've likely noticed more people decked out in Blue Jays gear.
And fans looking to find specific items are turning to a local business that's been outfitting people in sportswear for the past 30 years. CTV's Jessica Smith has more.
A staple in the city for over 30 years, Pro League Sports is a part of the fabric of Toronto.
Pro League Sports started in my mom's basement, but Pro League Sports has been open since October of 1991.
The brick-and-mortar store was a mainstay in the Beaches before moving to Regent Park 2 years ago. The man behind it all, Tex Thomas.
As a young lad, I grew up in Regent Park, so when the opportunity came to move the store back here, it was a no-brainer.
A lifelong Jays fan, this run to the big show means a lot to Thomas and has people pouring in on the hunt for Jays gear.
So I've picked up a Division Champs t-shirt, the ALCS shirt, and the ALCS Championship shirt as well.
The hot ticket item being one piece in particular.
The white panel Blue Jay hat. So it's an original hat of what they wore back in the earlier days, just enhanced the logo a little bit.
A steady stream of customers stopping by to show their support for the Jays and Thomas.
There's tons of sports stores that are all over the city. I'm coming in from outside of the city, but again, I've known Tex for this long, and this is where I want to support, and this is where I want to spend my money, is for my friend.
As far as his World Series prediction goes, now that the Jays are in LA,
it'll be tough to take 3 there, but if they can take 2, I'm going to say it goes in 6 back in Toronto, which I'll be at.
For Thomas, one of the best parts of this World Series run has been the community. Whether it's old fans or new fans, it's all love for Canada's team. Jessica Smith, CTV News. Go Jays, go.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
That was magical, Jess. Thanks. Just ahead, a windfall for a die-hard Toronto sports fan. How he turned $93 into $100,000 betting on the Jays, making it to the World Series.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A Toronto man's big bet on his favorite teams, including the Blue Jays, has paid off in a big way.
Now he's $100,000 richer after correctly picking several winners. CTV's Allison Hurst has the story.
Yeah, the most iconic moment in Blue Jays history. And maybe we're going to have one more that we right alongside it.
Max Wolfish has a collection of Blue Jays memorabilia that's nothing to shake your head at.
On his big day, they had to show his most iconic moment.
And there's one thing the season ticket holder didn't bobble. This bet, turning $93 into a little more than $100,000.
It still feels like so surreal that this actually happened.
In November 2024, Wolfish made the bet on his favorite teams, choosing the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC Championship.
Fly, Eagles, fly to Super Bowl 59.
They did. He chose Canada to win the Four Nations face-off. They did. He chose the Leafs to win the Atlantic Division.
The Leafs have won the Atlantic Division.
They did. And finally, he chose the Blue Jays to win the American League Championship. They did. and Wolfish was there to see it happen.
What a win. What a moment.
I was kind of just sat there in disbelief for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, I got to go downtown.
The couple isn't taking the windfall lightly.
A good part of it's going to go into investments.
But they are going on a trip to celebrate.
We did book a trip to go to Vegas, not to gamble it all the way, but to go see the Leafs beat Mitch Marner and the Knights in January. And no, we'll see. I bought my dog some toys and shoes.
Throughout the year, he was realistic about the unlikely odds.
I'm not here to promote gambling. Everybody can do this. I was very at peace to lose the $93 if it didn't work out.
But chose 93 to give him some luck.
My late father, he was a big fan of the Leafs, and his favorite player was Doug Gilmour, who wore number 93. So I remember as a kid going to watch his men's league hockey games, and he'd wear 93. And to this day, that's the number that I wear when I play my sports.
Wolfish says when it comes to the Jays, the job's not done. He hopes to see them win the World Series. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Now, if he's picking the Jays, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign. And he can afford tickets now, too.
Yeah. For 1 or 2 games, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Weather-wise, this sunset has been really cool tonight. And when you look over in L.A., gosh, the weather's gorgeous.
I know. We'll take that. It looks like it's going to be a great night for a ball game, doesn't it? Let's talk first about overnight tonight here in Toronto. Yes, we've been enjoying that beautiful shot. Here's a look at what you can expect overnight. A low near 4, maybe even 3 degrees just before sunrise tomorrow morning. Here's tomorrow's forecast daytime high. You'll notice that it is bang on seasonal at 11 degrees. Mix of sun and clouds, slight chance of drizzle. We are in LA for the next 3 nights here. And yeah, conditions look pretty good for playing some baseball. Mainly clear skies expected at Dodger Stadium. And then your 7-day forecast, bringing it back to Toronto. Unsettled weather beginning Thursday, likely impacting your Halloween on Friday. But that's not going to stop the kids from trick-or-treating. And the weekend, first couple of days of November, look a little cooler. Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Almond with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.